Hello everyone, it's your guy Ray again. Welcome to Halftime Break. I can't help myself but have to share to you guys some readings that I find recently. And Andrew Yang is trying to get LeBron James to endorse him. It's one of his endorsements. One thing very interesting is that his list is actually pretty interesting to me because the top few endorsers for Andrew Yang is actually one of them in the list is of course Elon Musk, in which I believe a lot of people would have known. Casey Neistat is supporting him as well, and there's a couple of Asian Americans that is supporting him, which is Ken Jeong, the comedian, and Simu Liu, which is currently in the cast of Marvel. It's crazy, and also my personal favorite YouTuber, which is Ryan Higa. So I have watched Andrew Yang in his podcast. I extremely love that podcast, by the way, of the Pill podcast. Today, I have to bring up the comparison between Elizabeth Warren and also Andrew Yang when it comes to how they will be taxing the large corporations in order to fund their ideas. Both of them supported Medicare for all, but both of them have different approach. So how are they actually going to go after the taxation part is one thing that I find it pretty interesting to read about. For instance, Elizabeth Warren has been quite a favorite name in the office for quite a while because she has been fighting for Consumers' Right Protection Act, and also ever since she's running for office, she's focusing on, let me get this right, she's focusing on criticizing the current economy of winner-takes-all economy. Her idea was actually to propose a 2% wealth tax on every wealth that are 50 million and above, and imposing 3% on the billionaires, right? As opposed to Elizabeth Warren's policy, Andrew Yang is actually focusing on universal basic income, and he's going to fund it with the VAT tax, value added tax. So this value added tax, it's basically getting from all the Amazon sales, all the Google search, all of the Facebook ads. So it's to fund back to the people, right? So according to Andrew Yang, if his criticism on Elizabeth Warren's way of taxing the wealthier people is actually, he's throwing the question back. If you were a millionaire and billionaire, would you rather pay about like $10 million tax a year, or would you go to other countries? Imagine going to Canada or other countries and say like, hey, what's your idea of having someone that is very, very rich to be your citizen? It's a no-brainer that many countries will have taken them in, right? And giving them all the benefits that they can. In fact, we're already seeing many millionaires and billionaires have voicing out their concerns. One of them would be Bill Gates. Imagine with Mr. Gates' net worth, right? He would have to be paying about $6.4 billion in taxes next year if Elizabeth Warren were to become the president running for office, right? So it's quite a crazy and fun news to actually learn about all these different ideas that people have been brought up, and it is interesting to actually talk about it and to discuss about it and to see what you guys actually think about it. Do you think like getting the wealth from the so-called winners and redistribute it back to the people like that, like taking a sort of like a quite large portion of wealth from them and redistributing back to the people, is it really the right way, or it should be done in a rather different approach? Which is personally why I really like about Andrew Yang, is because his approach is rather interesting in such a way that he makes it like the people actually earns whatever they are getting, especially the VAT tax. Is actually putting it in such a way that the people, the citizens actually deserves the money because they are actually trading their data, trading their personal informations for that tax. Something like what he have mentioned constantly is like Alaska have been distributing money every year for about like $2,000 to $3,000 back to the people as the oil money to the people, right? So the VAT tax is actually coming from the people's database. Like these corporates are actually getting the database for free and sell this data to earn their billions and billions of dollars, and they're not getting taxed even a little bit, and the consumers are technically getting robbed with all this database. Think about that. And which is why I really like the idea that have been proposed by Andrew Yang, and which is why I really like his idea, and this is why I'm supporting him even though I'm not an American, because I do agree with whatever point that he's saying, and his futuristic view is rather fascinating for me. And of course, one thing for sure is that although you have made it really cringy that the opposite of Donald Trump is the Asian guy that likes math, it's rather cringy, but actually it's a very effective statement that have captured a lot of people's eyes. A rarely spoken truth, although, is that for most Americans, it is an unusual scenario to see actually there's an Asian American man that is running for president, and imagining this guy being a president, it's rather an unusual scene in America, and people are actually, whether you like it or not, they are actually trying to avoid that as much as possible. And right now we are seeing that becoming more and more surreal for these people, and this is something that a lot of people started to feel, having the fear of unknown right now. There's this quote that I really would like to brought up by this columnist Wesley, is that we do see Andrew Yang as an Asian American that are able to summon and inspire large enthusiastic crowd across the country in supporting his bid to become the national leadership. Charismatic enough to commander the spotlight, and no one had wanted to train on him. So he has definitely shaken the entire political scene in the United States of America, and he avoids identity politics more than any other candidate. And he avoids politically correctness when it comes to his own identity without being offensive, and he has a way right around the policies suggesting for extreme relevance and importance, tackling issues that other candidates avoid in favor of arguably more populist and divisive tactics. Because one thing that I really like about him is that he don't go with the approach of like spreading hate in a way, which I've seen a lot in Malaysian politics. They go with the divide and rule system in which they spread hate. They talk about racism towards the extremists. They talk to different people, different things that not necessarily they personally believed in. They're just saying what the people wants to hear, right? So that's one thing that he's doing it very differently, rather differently. This is what I feel how a country's leader should be about: spreading peace, tackling the real problem, and really make the people think harder, which is his slogan, "Make American Think Harder," which I truly believe. Well, Yang is only one that appears to be concerned about the problem that will have a huge impact. What I've written here is that his point on automation makes a lot of sense, and as someone that works closely around this sector, I have the impression that many people will have no idea how exactly to deal with it. So he actually have a pretty good idea. He in fact have a really good idea that it will be great to see him running the office and making things happen. So that's all for my sharing today, and thank you so much for your attention today. And if you like this kind of video, do give me a like and thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.